Hey guys, how are you? I'm just pinning something here so everyone can know what we're doing. If I can get it to work. There we go. What's up? Happy Monday. I hope all of you guys had a very good Easter. I am happy that you could join me here today. This is kind of a special one because we're all locked inside, can't do anything anyways. So we're doing root hacks. And when I say root hacks, I mean what can you do to cover your grown out color with a style? Not necessarily adding color to your hair, but what can you do to make your roots not look as bold and stand out as much? I am Michael Dueñas, and I am an Aloxi guest artist, and I'm very happy to be here with my beautiful blonde right here. Not too much yellow, she's pretty good platinum. I feel this one's a pretty good example because blonde you usually see a little bit more dimension, a little bit more movement in the hair. And so I just want to show you guys what tips and tricks you can do to cover those roots. If you have any questions at all, please type them in down there. I'll answer them because my phone is approximately 1.5 feet away. I hope lighting is okay. Today's a little limited with where I can be, so you are in my bedroom. Welcome. All right. Thank you again for having me. Let's start off because I'm going to be here for just a little bit for you guys. We know that now that we are quarantined for a little bit more time, that we're going to get a little bit more roots, a little bit more grow out, and we still want to look good on Instagram, Facebook, especially TikTok right now. We want to look fantastic. So we want to hide our roots. We also want to be able to show our clients how to hide their roots. Because right now I do think having consultations with your clients via Instagram, Facebook Live, Zoom, however you're going to do it is extremely important. That way you can keep your relationship going with your client. Even if it's just like, hey, let's talk about what you can do to style your hair differently so you won't see those roots. Let's talk about what you can do to blow dry your hair to keep it healthier. I think engaging with your clients right now on any aspect is incredibly important. And I think it's something that all of us should be doing. Because once we get back on the floor, once we get back out there, we want our clients to be pounding on our doors to come back to us and not the other artist who is offering, hey, I'm going to do a full head for $20, full head of color. Nothing wrong with that, but we want to keep our clients engaged and with us. We are a community, but I do know it is going to be a little rough when we start rolling things out. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. For those of you just joining, I'm Michael Dueñas, and I am very grateful to be here on behalf of Aloxi. First, we're going to start with our rat tail comb, or sectioning comb, or whatever you guys would like to call it. The biggest thing with hiding roots is a style to where you're not going to emphasize them. If my client has a center part, how bold are her roots going to be? You're really, really going to see them right here. If she parts her hair down the middle, that's all you're going to see. You're not going to see anything else. We can use a root shadow, something of that nature to cover it, but let's go a little bit above and beyond that. It's all about your sectioning to hide. So let's say our client would like to have a top knot. If I pull all this hair straight back, you're really going to see these roots coming down, correct? Yes, I'm glad you guys agree. So we want to be able to hide this entire area as much as possible. That's when this comes into play. We're going to take a zigzag section in and out, in and out, and remove this whole top. So I'll do each side, zigzag, in and out, in and out. Okay, and I'm going to do the same over here. In and out, in and out. When I'm saying in and out, I am creating a full zigzag. Can you guys see that okay? The reason why I'm taking my sections like that is so this hair that is underneath the corners gets hidden. If I pull this back, you won't see a single root coming through here. You'll see through here a little bit, but that's when we're going to push this forward and give our client a really pretty wave and pull this hair up and out of the way. And we can leave some pieces down. That way you won't see it. Ideally, you can actually braid this and pull it apart, and that will cover even more if your client has a lot of regrowth showing. So for right now, we're going to clip this section out of the way. You guys following along okay? It's all right to talk. I won't bite. You guys can ask me anything. So we're clipping this section up and out of the way. Use our brush, make sure everything is nice and smooth, just to take out any tangles that are there. Go ahead and grab an elastic. And what really helps is to add a little bit of texture. So I'm using my Bombshell Grip Hold and Texture Spray. Has anyone used this yet? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's hairspray, dry shampoo, and texture in one. You can use it on wet or dry hair. And I'm going to apply just to add some texture through here so I can really pull this out and hide my root area. Hide things that I'm working with. Just spray it on top. Give myself a little bit of grit. Spray it underneath. And then I'm going to spray a little bit internally, just to add more hold. Now we don't need a lot. I want to keep a nice clean texture, because typically when you're trying to hide your roots, usually they're a little greasy. Let's avoid that aspect. This is going to help us. So is our dry shampoo. If your roots are extremely greasy, then I would grab a Loxy dry shampoo and spray that over top. With a little bit of the grit of the Bombshell, it's really going to stick and absorb those oils. Go ahead and put that back. Okay, I'm now going to take a section omitting these front pieces out. I'm going to leave these out. So let's move these up and out of the way. I'm just going to twist them for now. That way I don't need to have a ton of clips in here. Okay? And just lightly push them out of the way. Let's put a bob pin. I don't like to work with a million different clips. So let's just get this out of the way. Or hairpin, anything you have lying around. Twist it around just to hold that hair for the time being. Front sections, out of the way. Corner, corner. I'm now going to pull this remaining hair up and into a bun. You guys following along so far? I hope so. Okay, bring this hair up. Anything we can do to give our clients some tips right now to help them through this period will make them stay with us longer. And that is the ideal situation. We want our clients to be happy. We want them to stay with us. We want to remind them that we're here for them regardless of only when we're open for business, because we need to be for them all the time. That way they remember us and they will come back. Okay, so I'm gathering all her hair up into a bun. I'm not too concerned about making it extremely clean, because I can have even this hair falling down, and I'll show you different ways that you can leave that hair falling down or pull it back and hide this root. So I'm going to add a little bit of color all through here to hide where that root is. Let's use a little bit of a finer toothbrush. Just smooth that out a little bit more and bring all this hair up. You guys following along so far? Everyone's so quiet today. You're either still recovering from the weekend, which this has been the longest weekends of our lives, if I'm correct, or we're just enjoying what we're seeing. Okay, so let's pull this hair up into a bun. I'm taking my elastic, and I'm wrapping it around. To make it nice and tight, this hair is a little slippery, so we don't want it to fall out. Okay. So we have our hair up in a ponytail. You can leave it in a ponytail, or you can put it in a bun. Let's just put it in a bun for the sake of right now, so everything is nice and clean. But before I do that, I'm going to address this middle section. Let's chop out these two little pieces on the side. Okay? I'm going to address this middle now. So now I have this section. I can either bring it completely back and I hide a whole bunch of roots on top, or if we want to add a little bit of interest to our look and make it a little bit more fun, let's do a braid and pull our braid apart. A Loxy bombshell. Spray our section, brush it smooth, and I'm going to show you guys how I braid, which is definitely a little bit different. I use my pinkies. It's easier for me to grab smaller sections, and it's easier for me personally to control the hair. Let's get a small elastic. And just set it aside. See, you can see that? Very small elastic, and just set it aside. All right. So, horizontal section. We're about, I'd say, 1/2 inch thick. Split that into 3. And now, like I said, I use my pinkies. We're gonna grab, slide underneath, rather large, twist. And I know all of you know how to braid. So we're just grabbing this section and braiding it through. Grab our almost through the last little piece. Bring it back, but I'm keeping it slightly loose. And now we're gonna go all the way to the ends. All the way to the ends. And you're like, yeah, I've seen everyone do this before. Everyone braids the top, secures it, and pulls it back. But we're doing this with intention. We're doing it to hide our roots. So I'm putting this elastic in and keeping it slightly loose. I'm not making the elastic too tight. Any questions? Are you guys good? Okay. Now we're going to pull our braid apart. Let's put a little bit more bombshell on. Add some grit. Let it dry for just a quick second. And pull apart. Keep doing that. Pull apart. We want a little dishevelment to it. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Just really open this up. All the way back to where our bun is going to be. Okay? So we're just really widening this braid, grabbing the edges, pulling it apart, and just opening this up. That's going to give us more coverage at the top to hide our regrowth area, our roots. Keep going. You slowly want to do it so you don't just pull it apart and make it a mess. Everything needs to have purpose and intention to it. That's how I like to work. Keep going. Once you have that, lay this section down. You guys see? We're hiding so much of that root area at the top. We're going to pin this in right here. I'm going to go ahead and use a black pin. I'm not too concerned about seeing it because I know I'll be able to hide it. Right at the base, incorporate, twist this around, take another elastic, and cover your bun. Secure it, that way it stays. Let's pin that just a little bit flatter right here. And then one more pin in the back. So now we have our bun. Now we want to add wave to hide this area right here. So you can see our little shape. And I'm going to hide this whole area. But the way I'm going to wave it, I'm going to use a very small iron. Here's my 1/2 inch iron. You don't need a very large iron, but I'm going to use my 1/2 inch because I like the wave pattern that my 1/2 inch creates. I'm going to take this section in 2 sections. It's thin, but I really want to get it to wave and disperse. I know I want that hair to push forward. So I'm going to grab that hair and I'm going to rock that piece forward. Bring it forward and then rock this hair in and out. In and out. Up and down. And just create a really soft wave, leaving the ends slightly undone. We don't want it to be too polished. This way I'm getting a soft texture. Let's put a little bit of hairspray on it, just to give us a little more hold, just because this hair is rather processed. Let's do this one again, so we can get it to stay. All right, again, I'm going to take this section and I'm going to pull it forward. Hey guys, sorry, it wasn't moving. I didn't see any questions. Now I see. Hold on. The screen was frozen and no one was loading. Hello, hello. All right. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask me now. I apologize. Again, Hot Tools, 1/2 inch. I can see everything that everybody's typing now. We're going to rock that curl forward. Now that we're using our Loxy working spray, rotate our iron, and I'm rotating as I'm sliding. And the reason why I'm pulling it forward is I really want this piece to come towards my client's face. Everything towards my client's face. So it's really pushing forward. Now my next section, same exact thing. Hot Tools are such good irons for the price that they are, and they last for so long. Some of my Hot Tools I've probably had for 10 plus years. The handles look like they've had some serious use, but the tool itself still performs fantastically. Again, smooth your hair, rock forward, because I want that to pull forward. Rotate up, down, up, down, and continue to the ends, just sealing that end. Okay. Now, this is one of my favorite tricks. Be very careful on your client, but pull the hair forward and rub that root area. Don't touch your scalp. If you do, be real quick about it. Push that hair going forward. Okay. Now let's do this side. Same thing. Split. Use a Loxy working spray. You guys can see this. One of my favorite hairsprays. No flake, complete control. Shouldn't say it is one of, it is my favorite hairspray. Spray each section. Iron. Let's start on the bottom one this time. Smooth. Let's move this over so you guys can see a little more. Again, smooth that hair. I like to drag my iron from scalp to ends every single time because it just smooths it completely out. Rotate, rotate, drag, and work through, pulling towards the face of your client. And we just want a little texture. We don't want anything to stand out of too much. Smooth. Again, rotate towards the face. Rotate the iron up, drag it, and just work your whole way through. Just a little bit of softness. Go to the ends. Now grab the root, slightly rotate it, and push it towards the client's face. So now we're hiding a lot that's underneath. Let's put our iron down. Today's workspace is definitely interesting, being in my bedroom. Hi, Sam. Hi, Bob. Bombshell is unbelievable. Have you used the Shine Spray? If you haven't, the Shine Mist is insane. It's incredibly lightweight with like zero greasiness. I can spray so much and make the color pop without weighing it down at all. It's rad. Okay, now we have these pieces coming down. You can either A, take some, and this is what I like doing a lot. Do a little twist and bring that texture up and into the side. So say your client has a ton of regrowth right here. Now we have this nice wavy texture on both sides. You can either leave it down and let it frame the face, or you can take the underneath section, bring it back, and incorporate it into your style to help soften this. And I'm going to show you a little trick I like to do to get this in here without using a pin. Okay, Anyone seen these? These are some of my favorite. They're not for hair, typically used for electronics to hold things. What I like to do with these is weave the hair in and out and really hide my sections. So let's take this underneath, and I want to bring it down here. That way you can really see how I'm going to hide. I'm going to come up and underneath. Can you guys see this, or is the text in front of it? Anything? Okay, I'm going to lower this a little bit because I feel the text is blocking it. Let's drop this down a little bit. All right. Is that better? Thank you, Sasha. Someone had to say something. Okay. Let's show this again. Let's move this a little closer. All right. I'm working with multiple stands right now. All right. I'm putting this in, coming underneath right at the hairline. Right here, I'm grabbing the end of my bottom section, clamping, pulling down. So now I'm hiding that whole section in the front, besides this one little piece, which I am fine with that. Now I'm going to take it, unhook, come back through the top, grab my section again, pull through. I'm going to work all the way through to get that in the ends. And then I can wrap it up and around my bun. So now, when you look from the front, let's spread this out just a little bit. When you look from the front, you can't really see that root area at all, unless you lift this. But right here, it hides so much. And it also gives it a really pretty look from the side with it seamlessly blending in. So let's do this side now. Right here. We're going to lift our top section. Let's get that out of the way. Come from underneath. Grab just the end. So I have just the end of the hair. I'm pulling it in. Up and over. Grabbing the end, pulling it in. And I'm continuing in that motion, wrapping that hair around. Now I'm hiding all that root area there. And you can even pull little pieces out right here if you want some softness. And hide. And soft. So we can flatten this down a little bit more if you want, or you can leave that volume. Let's push it down just a touch. Let's use our blow dryer. And push that down. There we go. Same on this side. Okay. Smooth out those little flyaways we just created. Make sure our braid is pulled apart. Now, once you have your braid pulled apart and you're hiding all those roots on the top, depending on your client's hair color. Or then I'm going to lift this up just a little bit so you guys can see again. I'm going to come down on the top. Okay. So you can see the braid going into the bun. We're hiding that whole side, but we still have this root area, especially on platinums, that show a little bit. So they're going to have darker hair growing in. That's where eyeshadow palette comes into play. Now this palette has a lot of natural tones in it. This is a very natural tone palette that matches hair color a lot. How much do I charge for this style? That's a tough question because I think everybody's price is relevant. This would be considered an updo for me. So my pricing and someone else's pricing may be very different. Those are questions that are tough to ask or answer. I'm sorry. I would charge for this as much as you would charge for an updo. It's an updo. Takes less time, but you're still doing an updo. Don't let someone talk you into a cheaper price. Okay. Eyeshadow palette. Natural tones. Small brush. And I want to cover some of these areas right here. This even works if your client just went platinum and you're seeing down to the scalp. So I'm going to use my lighter tonality, and I'm going to move the hair that I just put there and lightly brush on. I'm using this blonde as a reference so you guys can see everything. So if this was a brunette, I'd be putting an even lighter color. On a blonde, you're going to have a real hard time putting white and have it look real. So it's all about giving it a natural diffusion. And that's what I want to show you guys. A nice natural diffusion, but just imagine that our coloring is reversed. And we're lightly going to paint this on. This can also give you a nice little grow out ombre feeling. And you use your eyeshadow to help fill in those seams all the way through. We would do this right through here and up on the sides. Now imagine if the colors are reversed, you're going to be able to really get it to pop. Normally, I wouldn't be putting a darker tone on bright light hair. She would have darker roots coming in, and I'd be using my natural light tone on her roots to make it pop more. So again, this is pure example on what to use, even though the tonalities are a little bit changed because she obviously doesn't have any regrowth. It's tough to get a mannequin with regrowth unless I color it for you. And you're going to continue in that same manner all the way down, all the way around. And you're just going to keep painting everything. Spray it all with hairspray, and that's going to completely melt away all the regrowth that you see. Now, this didn't take us very long, yet we're able to hide all the roots on top. These pieces here cover everything on the side. Even when this blows, when she's walking, this hair right here covers that whole front section, everything. And so you can really hide that. You can even take it to the next level and say I want to spread this section out so I cover even more. That's when I'm going to use my bombshell. I'm going to spray my section, add in some grit, let it dry for a second, and then pull it apart. You can use your small fine tooth comb brush if you need. Lightly, very lightly, back brush. Very, very lightly. And pull apart. And then cover the tops. And then you pull it back and you're really able to get more coverage. And like I said, if you're concerned about sections like this, that's when you use your eyeshadow palette. Now this would normally have regrowth, but we don't have our regrowth right now because she just had a root touch, but I want to show you what you would do. So right here, I would love to cover underneath that so I don't see it. I can either blow dry this going down and cover my seam, or I use my light color and I just lightly cover at the root area and I fill that in. The small amount of color makes a huge, huge impact. And you can cover so much of that seams. So just as I'm able to put the color on and you see it, it does the same thing if she had a darker root and I'm using my lighter tonality on my eyeshadow palette. And I can really cover it. Okay, I want to show you another look on what I like to do with texture to cover root, because it's much harder to see regrowth when you have a very textured look as opposed to when everything is straight. So if you make a very soft, quick texture to pull everything back, then you can really hide your regrowth. And for me, I'm going to lower this down a little bit. For me, I think it's really important that if you do have a lot of regrowth, I think it's important that you do something pulled back, because that's how you hide things the most. If you leave it down, there's a lot more that you need to hide. So there's a way I like to do my texture in the front that makes things quick and simple and easy to hide. In saying this, before I take this down, actually, if you get to this stage and you still really want to hide, grab a headband, any color, any shade, and it's really just as simple as, let's get this on really quick. Just as simple as taking your headband and covering that front area. Let's pull this out. And we still have a super cute look. Let's pin this little piece because I pulled it out just so I can show you. And right now, I think everyone has plenty of headbands and plenty of bandanas. So we're really able to hide all that regrowth, yet we still get a really cute look. You can leave hair coming out anywhere or pull it down and framing the face. Let's pull this guy out. And we have a really cute look, yet we don't see any of that regrowth with how we pulled her hair. Yeah, she could go working out in this, or she can go and do whatever she needs. And you can use a plethora of different headbands. Different tones, different colors, and just make it fun. Okay, I want to show you how I like to do texture to cover everything. And it's a very fast texture that I like to create. So let's go ahead and take this down. How many of you use a very small iron for your work? I tend to use a 1/2 inch for a lot of the work that I do. Do you guys use 1/2 inch? Do you use larger? If you're creating texture to hide something, I really recommend using a small iron. Thank you guys. I'm glad I can help you out. We're all in this together, so we got to make the best of it. All right, let's brush this out. My back pocket is where I keep all my brushes. All right, this is one of my favorite techniques. So, you know when you have roots and you really want to hide them and you're just like, okay, I have 5 minutes, but I really have to do this updo. Or I need to run out the door, so I really need to get this done. This is what I'm going to do. And you always feel a little rushed. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to be using my working spray and my dry shampoo. Working spray, dry shampoo. The reason why I'm using both, and I would do this on wet hair and dry hair, is the dry shampoo will stick to the working spray and create more of a fuller feeling, a more of a fuller look. Similar to what Bombshell does. This is how Bombshell was originally formulated, but this is going to be even softer, so you can really get feather coming off and a lot of softness. So first, what kind of brush am I using? I'm using 2 different ones. Tangle Tamer Ultra. It's got mannequin hair in it. I promise it's clean. And then I'm also using my unbrush. And all this mannequin hair. It's real attractive and really good for me to show you guys that. I'm a professional, trust me. Okay. Working spray all over. Focus on the hairline. All around the hairline. Get it in, and while it's still tacky, dry shampoo. Let it set for a moment. This stuff is so soft and rad, by the way. Okay, right when it's dry, we're now going back to our small iron. 1/2 inch. Now the trick is to hide as much as we can, because I'm going to pull this back, but I don't have a lot of time, so I don't want to do the whole head. There's no reason to do the entire head if I'm pulling all the hair back. So I'm taking my section, taking in account that her parting is right here, and I want to hide that. So I'm taking that all at once. Brush and smooth, because I have a nice texture. I am going to now wrap around my iron nice and tight. Oh, take her head off while it's a hot iron, because that's what we're supposed to do. All the way down to the root area. Let it get warm. Okay. But I don't want to have this big bump. So while this is warm, split that down the middle. Just want texture. And wrap the opposite way, right at the root area. Pull it out. Wrap in towards the root area. And then we're doing one more thing. We're taking our iron, and I'm taking my blade, and I'm clamping forward, taking it out, and then clamping back again. This is going to create a little texture and a little kink, and then just lightly close and smooth. This way, you get a little fold, and it will change the way the light hits it. And so you don't notice the root area as much. You can even go forward with that clamp and really work it out and move it wherever you want. So I like to add a little bit of a kink, because that way the hair doesn't look as natural. And if you add a little bit of fuzziness to it, it won't reflect light the same. If you make it so it absorbs light, you're not going to see your root as much. So you can make it a hard line, soft line, however you want, because when you brush it out, you lose that crimp area, but you make it so it doesn't reflect as much light. And that's the whole point of this. Take your next section, wrap up and around, and you can work quickly. Again, next section, and I'm just working my hairline, and I'm working up and back. Hairline, up and back. Other side, and you guys see that I'm working quick because it doesn't need to take long. Take our section. Again, the point is to make the hair reflect less light in the hairline so you can hide that regrowth area. The more light it reflects, the more you're actually going to see the root. And I'm wrapping opposite directions, forward, back, back. Pull it back. Get this out of the way. Take another section, split. Wrap, wrap, wrap. Let me move this over so you guys can see. Rachel, I'm glad you're going to try this. You saying that, I admire your work a lot. That is incredibly flattering. So thank you. What's up, Rocco? I'm twisting some and flat wrapping other pieces because I want it to have a different feel. I want each area to have a different texture. That's how I'm hiding my root area and creating more of a matte finish, less shine. So now I have more of a texture in here. Let's take one more piece right behind my hairline, just on the very top. Let me rotate this so you can see. So I'm taking this last piece and I want a little volume. I don't want it to be flat. So a blade around first because this is now hidden. Then I'm doing a figure 8 around the barrel and the blade. You guys see that? Blade first, barrel twice, and then wrap around the barrel and the blade. Pull our head off, catch it, take it out. This way I get quite the texture coming back. Set our iron down, and then rake our fingers through, and look at this texture that I have now. Really soft, able to hide so much more of that root area because you're not seeing through. And we can create a low little bun, and this doesn't even require a ton of product, but we prepped it properly with our dry shampoo and our working spray. So now we're going to tuck this in the back. You guys see that all right? And we can create a cute little bun using just a few hairpins. Top. It's almost like a French twist bun, and I'll show you. Wrap around. So I have 2 pins in here. That's it. 2 pins. I'm using black so you guys can see where I put my pins. I always try to hide my pins, but right now I think it's important that you guys actually see how they go in. Let's grab another hairpin. We're coming around. So we have a really cute disheveled bun right here. And if I want more volume at the top, I'm just going to take this hair and I'm going to pull it up because I put that texture in. Say we want to pick it up just a little bit. Let's pull it up. Don't ever put hairpins or bob pins in your mouth. Pull this up at the top, come all the way up, and pin. Now we have a really cute look that only required a few pins, and I'm able to hide all that texture underneath that I would now go with my eyeshadow and just touch the root area. Again, the point is to take away the light, take away the reflection of the root, so that way you don't see it pop so much. You guys, I hope you learned something. We created 2 styles very quickly for you without a lot of effort, with 3 to 4 essential products depending on the light that you want. We use our Aloxi dry shampoo, our Aloxi working spray, our Aloxi bombshell, and I spoke to you about our Aloxi shine spray. So say I want to emphasize different areas of light and reflection. I would spray my shine spray on my bun and slightly around the bun. That's so I get less reflection here and more where I want the focus to be to take away from my root area. Before I leave, I love you guys, and please check out my new nonprofit. We are here to support hairdressers. We're offering grants, education, tools, and mentorship. It is called Support Creatives, and you can go to @supportcreatives on Instagram or supportcreatives.org. We are here to help you through the crisis that we're going through, but long term. I want to support every hairdresser the best way I can for the rest of my life. I have a new goal, and it is to help everyone. Please visit supportcreatives.org and Support Creatives on Instagram. We are a nonprofit here to help the hairdresser, different than any other nonprofit that's around. We want you to succeed, and we will help you keep a roof on your head, food on your table, tools in your kit, and the education you need. That is my rant. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I'm very happy to know that I have support of you guys, and especially I have the support of Aloxi, and we'll be doing big things with Aloxi, and they've already done big things with us. Thank you for joining me. This is how to hide your roots. You have amazing education coming up later on this week, and I will see you again next Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, guys.